Hey, it's Jack. Okay, Jack in the attic. I just realized I don't have a mug to hold. So I'm under a winter storm warning. How are you? As always, the forecasts are varying wildly depending on who I ask. But we're looking at 10 to 15 inches of snow and some ice. So I just wanted to celebrate my first cast on of 2025 with y'all. I wish I could feel a little more celebratory about it. But there is sort of the impending snowpocalypse, so there's really no better time to knit. So I've been planning this. I want my first knit cast on for the year to be the Hilja dress because I've been talking about it forever and I have the yarn and I'm ready to do it. I wanted to finish the pants first because that very similarly is something you have to pay a little bit more attention to in the beginning, and then it turns into just plain stockinette for a long time, and this dress is exactly that as well. I'm making it in Drops Cotton Merino. I made sure I have 16 in the same dye lot. I checked. 16. So I have well over the recommended yardage. If I have enough left over, I'm gonna do little like half sleeves maybe. Half sleeve's not really a thing. 3/4? Whatever. I'll add some sleeves that are not full length because this is gonna be, you know, the cotton merino is not the warmest yarn in the world, but I want this to be like a fall winter dress, so having some sleeves on there just makes sense. I did do a gauge swatch. I'm not letting anything mess this up. I feel like I've been posting a lot of L's lately regarding dye lot and ordering more yarn in a different dye lot and it just messing everything up. It's been happening to me a lot lately, so I'm not letting it happen this time. So I have all my supplies gathered, I have the pattern on my laptop, and I want to cast on this big project together. And I also want to talk about hand and wrist pain things. I mentioned it in a previous video and asked if anyone wanted to see that, and one person said yes, and that is enough for me. I am using the recommended 4mm needles. I wish I could use my fancy new metal ones, but they're in another project right now. And knowing this is going to be a lot of stockinette, it will end up being a TV project. And my metal needles, I love the sound of them. I love the clacking. I love the metal scraping. Some people don't love it. Maybe people who live in my house. Maybe the only other person who lives here. So it's probably for the best that I'm using my bamboo needles. So I actually did the gauge swatch for this months ago, like right after Yarn Crawl. I can't remember why. I think I was trying to decide if I was going to use the recommended yarn or, oh, I do remember why. Okay, so I had leftover Drops Cotton Merino and I had one little cake of the recommended yarn, and I knitted swatches of both to see which one I preferred, and it just ended up being Drops Cotton Merino. The Holstgarn Coast looks beautiful. I thought it looked nicer, but I did a little wear tolerance test where I took the swatch and I like tucked it into my shirt and my shoulder to see if I would get itchy, and I did. So that's a bummer because it's a really pretty yarn, but I'm going with Cotton Merino, which is actually maybe a good thing because I made my Salty Days sweater out of this exact yarn, so I know how it behaves, I know how it washes, and I know how it dries. Because if something says superwash, God knows I'm gonna put it in the dryer. A little bit more about the weather. With this forecast has come like one of the wilder sort of winter prep grocery experiences I've ever seen. I went 2 days ago and the bad weather is not supposed to start until this evening. So 2 days ago, it was crazy. It's also sort of split across the metro area of where I live, as to like some areas are going to get a lot of ice and barely any snow, and some areas are going to get like 15 inches of snow and hopefully no ice. And I'm kind of right in the middle of that. So can't wait to see what happens. I did run out this morning to do one last errand, and I thought that was going to be logs for the fireplace, and I got distracted at the last second, and instead I'm making a little tub shelter for some neighborhood stray cats. I don't know if that was my best logical decision-making moment, but I went with my heart, I guess. All of the other reasonable preparations I could make, I did make. So, we'll see. So, speaking a little bit about wrist and hand pain, I was first diagnosed with tendonitis in my wrists at 17, I believe. So this has been going on for quite a while for me. I have acquired many little tricks. And then, aside from my own personal brand of just pain issues, I'll knit too long and just get sore hands. Like, it happens. I'm not immune to knitting for too long, getting distracted, and ending up with sore hands the next day. That's just a thing that happens. Okay, here's how far I've gotten. This is my big accomplishment I wanted to share with everyone. Before I continue on that, one of the main things I will use for just overdid it a little hands are sore type hand pain and wrist pain, mostly hand pain, because my knuckles will get quite swollen. I have these little gel wrist things that I keep in the freezer. I will just put these over my fingers and it helps so much. They are very squishy, they stay cold for quite a while. Also in the summer, it's very nice to just like put them on my wrist if I'm doing something outside, like if I'm going for a walk and it's very, very hot. Bonus. So these are definitely one of my favorite things. The brand of these is Strive. I'm not recommending particular brands or anything because I'm positive I just got this on the internet. We're recommending concepts rather than actual brands in almost every circumstance. The exception to that rule is going to be the TheraBand Flex Bar, because I also crocheted so much I gave myself tennis elbow. Don't do that. Basically, this whole video is don't be like me. Order enough yarn the first time, check your dye lots, rest your hands. Obviously, resting, stretching, proper exercise to strengthen your hands and wrists is actually going to be the answer to all of these. These are just some extra things that I use. For actual proper instruction, I highly, highly recommend the Knitting PT. She's fantastic. She was at a knitting retreat I went to. I got to do a little one-on-one session with her. She was incredible. She does have, I think it's a paid course for wrist pain, but it is entirely worth it. I will absolutely link both her channel and that wrist rehab course below because she's great. And obviously, please don't take my little gadget recommendations as any sort of medical advice. It's not that. These are the supplementary tools that I use on top of the stretching, resting, little exercises, etc. So the Flex Bar was actually recommended to me by my physical therapist. I already owned it though, because I did some research and found out it was great for elbow pain. So this I've owned for quite a while. I have far fewer elbow issues now, but I also use, I don't know if I have it here, but I use compression sleeves on my elbows if they get too bad. Various compression garments have also been recommended to me by various physical therapists and cleared by my rheumatologist. Oh, here's one of my elbow ones. This is, I'm reaching into a drawer and I'm pulling these out. I call this the pain box for obvious reasons. So when I went to, it's not physical therapy, what's the other thing? Occupational therapy. I ended up with a bunch of extra like wrist braces, and I have the gross, I have the like ugly compression gloves, but I do wear these a lot. Sorry, this has gone off the rails. It was a little more structured in my head. I wear these a lot. I have probably 3 pairs of these and the tan ones, just in various places. I have a pair at my desk. I have a pair with my knitting stuff. I have a pair here in my room. I have a pair in my purse. Like, they're everywhere. So the gloves I think I would recommend for everyone. Other compression things, ask your doctor. I don't know. This is as needed, and I personally need them. One of the other things that was recommended by my PT is this. I've heard this called a peanut. I use this specifically for rolling out my forearms. I'll like have this on a table and use it to roll out sore muscles in the forearms. I love this. Sometimes it will make me too aware that there are like things in my arm, like there's guts in there and I have tendons and blood and stuff, and it will ick me out pretty bad. So like, obviously don't roll too hard. This is maybe the weirdest one I have. Couldn't tell you what this is called. A finger roller. It's not the most helpful thing. I don't know that this is one I actually recommend, but I do own it. So this is the actual weirdest one I own, and it's definitely the most expensive. Less expensive than physical therapy by a lot. A couple years back, I got this for Christmas. This is a hand massager. It looks crazy. I will not turn it on because it is extremely loud. And again, I'm not recommending this particular brand. I don't know anything about it. This was, again, a gift. I will say the battery life on this one is not good at all, but I don't have any other issues with it. So I don't not recommend this one, you know, but I certainly don't recommend this one specifically, you know? So this kind of squeezes your hand like crazy and does heat and vibration. Does that sound like fun? I enjoy it. Does it sound fun? I don't know that that sounds fun at all. Anyway, it's very loud. There are no physical buttons, so if you accidentally touch the screen, it will beep very loud. If you fall asleep with this thing on, because I will often do this at the very end of the night, like in bed, if I fall asleep with this on and accidentally bump this, it'll just beep so loud. But those are my only 2 complaints, is not great battery life and beep so loud. The rest of it has been great. So I look insane. And if I take my hand out of this, I get the ganja bar. So that's that, I guess. And now that you've seen all my weird little gadgets, let me say again, the knitting PT. Rest, stretching, wrist strengthening exercises. That's what you actually want to do. So I do want to know, what is your first cast on of the year? Is that something other people keep track of? Like, is that something other people care about? Is first cast on of the year like a special moment to anyone else? That's actually all I've got today. I think this was kind of a weird video, but I really just wanted to like share this cast on moment with you because it's a big project, and again, the first one of the year, so I think it's a special occasion. And I obviously wanted to hop on before everything gets a little bit crazy across the entire Midwest and some of the East Coast, I think. If you are also in the path of this storm, oh my god. Good luck, be safe, don't drive. Anyway, regardless of where you are, I hope you're having a good new year. I hope you're staying warm, or if you're in the southern hemisphere, cold. Oh, happy birthday to all horses in the northern hemisphere. When is the birthday for all horses in the northern hemisphere?
January 1st.
January 1st, okay. She had more to say, I don't care. It's January 1st. Happy birthday to all horses in the northern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere horses, you get to wait until August. Stay warm, stay safe, happy knitting. Go live your best yarny life. I will see you next time. And if this video goes up Saturday or Sunday, it means I still have power. Wish me luck. Bye.